Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, Tuesday, the previous day before the super game, another super exciting game in the UEFA Champions League against Shakhtar Donetsk. As you know, we are playing against the Ukrainian side in the Santiago Bernabeu. As you know, so far Santiago Bernabeu hasn't been the, the best place to play in. I mean, actually, it's been very bad for Real Madrid in terms of results, scores. I mean, we have actually won just 2 games out of 6 possible. So it is not good. And of course, we have to reverse that situation really quick. And that will happen if we are able to win to Shakhtar Donetsk tomorrow. In order to do that, I have to give you all a quick update on the squad, on the players, because the good news today, the good news for tomorrow is Karim Benzema is back. I mean, Karim Benzema showed up yesterday in the training ground of Real Madrid. I mean, everybody knew Karim Benzema didn't have any kind of injury. He was not going through any kind of, process of recovery or something like that, because he was not injured at all. But he needed just some rest. And as you could see in his Instagram account, he uploaded a picture during the day off that all the players of Real Madrid had yesterday, working out in the facilities of Real Madrid in Valdebebas, which means that the player, even in his day off, he's still on it and he's still, super committed to the team. And of course, he didn't take a break. He was actually working out in the day off, which means that the player is 100% ready to go and will be available tomorrow for Carlo Ancelotti, which is, of course, very good news. As far as the players that are injured so far, that we have under any kind of treatment or recovery process or whatever, let me tell you, as you know, Mariano will be out of the squad just because he had a surgery yesterday as well in his nose, as you know, after that super fall that he had in the Martinez Valero when he broke his nose against the grass of the field. He had a surgery and he had it last night in Madrid. I mean, the player is recovering very good. There won't be any kind of problem, but he will be out of the squad for the next couple of weeks. Rodrigo Goes is the one who have apparently some more medical tests and scans and stuff like that, because they still don't know, the medical staff still don't know what is going on with the leg of Rodrigo Goes. They still don't know what happens. And of course, they have to determine what is the real problem that Rodrigo Goes has in his leg and how long is going to be for him to get back to the squad. I mean, how long is he going to be out of the squad, just trying to recover from that injury? And the other thing, Casemiro, not many people knew. I mean, he didn't break his nose as Mariano did the other day, but he was bleeding through the nose. But the last reports from Madrid, it is that the player will be available for Carlo Ancelotti as well. And it was not big deal. It was just that he was bleeding through the nose. That's it. But it was not a broken nose like Mariano or something like that. I mean, it was minor. It was not, like I said, big deal. And tomorrow will be available for Carlo Ancelotti to play for Real Madrid. That is as far as all the players that we didn't know whether they are going to be able to make it or not, right? So tomorrow we are playing against Shakhtar Donetsk, a very difficult game again, of course, but we will have to the most of the, normally players that play in the lineup of Real Madrid, so we shouldn't have any problem to beat to the Ukrainian side. But of course, we have to be careful, because every time we face off these kind of teams that you never know you never know what can happen, right? So you have to be careful. You have to start the game super focused on the goal and try to wrap up the whole thing right quick, right? So because they are always danger. I mean, in a score like the last, like the one that we got in the away game against these guys, against Shakhtar Donetsk, it was good and it can happen, but don't be, be careful with that, because that doesn't mean we are going to walk over them. And what can happen, it is actually a kind of surprise, because we are not, very concentrated in the game. Just because we are unfocused or whatever, we can lose the game. So we have to be careful, try to get the 3 points, and of course keep moving forward and qualify for the next round. That is as far as the game tomorrow. And now let me move on and let's talk about more news stuff, rumors about signings, about departures and all the stuff. Because last night Eduardo Inda showed up in El Chiringuito and delivered about 7 to 8 exclusive news talking about different players, different things, different situations that I want to share with you all, because they are very important. So let's get started with Eden Hazard and his future. As you know, Eden Hazard, over the last 2 days, we have had a lot of information regarding to the Belgian player, claiming that Real Madrid is considering to put him on the market for the next January and try to get rid of the player right quick. Right after that, we heard the player wants to stay in Real Madrid. He wants to reverse his situation in Los Blancos, trying to, improve significantly more and try to be important for the side, and of course try to become another pick, another option for Carlo Ancelotti, which is to me something really difficult to get. But if he can, apparently according to Eduardo Inda, Juventus de Turin is very interested in the loan of the player, in borrowing the player to Real Madrid for the rest of the season, and of course maybe in summer try to throw some money on the table and own the player and buy the player to Real Madrid. I don't know how much this player might worth right now. Maybe 30 million, maybe 40 million, something like that. But in my opinion, that would be great for Real Madrid if we can get rid of this player, because there's no way to keep trusting in a player who has been playing over the last 2 years in Madrid without giving anything, significant or important or big to Real Madrid. So my understanding is, okay, if we have a chance to get rid of this player, we should go ahead and do it. And apparently Massimiliano Allegri is very interested in the player, in signing him for this season, in winter to borrow the player to Real Madrid, and then in summer to sign him for the next, 2 to 3 seasons or something like that. And that would be great. I think that would be a very good deal for everybody. For Real Madrid, number 1, for Juventus de Turin, number 2, and for the player, number 3. So let's see what happens and see if finally Juventus de Turin is so interested in the player that they are able to throw some money on the table and negotiate with Real Madrid for Eden Hazard next January. And then Eduardo Inda was talking as well about a rumor that was, it is an very old rumor. It is a rumor that popped up like 2 years ago, and it is about Fabian Ruiz, the Naples player, signing for Real Madrid. His possible signing for Real Madrid. And apparently, according to Eduardo Inda, Carlo Ancelotti has asked to the board members of Real Madrid to sign the player right quick. As you know, Carlo Ancelotti and Fabian Ruiz were working together in Napoli 2 or 3 seasons ago. And of course, the Italian coach knows very well to the Spanish player. So that means he likes it. He likes Fabian Ruiz for the midfield of Real Madrid. And apparently is very interested in Florentino Perez to sign the player. As you know, Fabian Ruiz was very close to sign a contract for Real Madrid 2-3 years ago, but back in the day, it was, in my opinion, a little bit overpriced, and finally the deal couldn't happen just because the player was worth in about 80 to 90 million. So Real Madrid had to pay, like 80, 90 million euros for signing the player for Real Madrid. So finally, Florentino Perez refused to pay such an amount of money, and then the player remained in Napoli, right? But now, apparently, Carlo Ancelotti wants to revive this possible transfer and wants to Florentino Perez to sign this player. My opinion is that is not going to happen. You have to keep in mind, although the player might worth now some point about, I mean, between 50 to 60 millions, maybe 40 or something like that. In my opinion, we're good to go in the midfield. I mean, in the midfield, we have to keep in mind we have players like Eduardo Camavinga, Marco Asensio, and of course, now that Carlo Ancelotti is reviving again the classical, Zidane's midfield with Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and Luka Modric, I don't think we should add up another midfielder for Real Madrid. And of course, that is number one reason. Number two, it is Fabian Ruiz is the kind of player that we are not looking for. I mean, Fabian Ruiz is more like for teams like FC Barcelona back in the day with Guardiola, maybe with Zidane in 2000. Well, not with Zidane, but it's a kind of player very similar to Isco Alarcón and Marco Asensio and all the stuff, but it's not the typical super physical player, powerful, strength, speed, stuff like that. It is not that kind of player, right? So if we are signing players who are right the opposite in terms of physical condition and stuff like that to Fabian Ruiz, there's no point in signing a player which is more similar to players like Marco Asensio or Isco Alarcón, who, by the way, are being ruled out by Carlo Ancelotti. So there's no point, there's no way, and to me it doesn't make any sense to sign this player for the next season. I mean, I think he's a good player, but it's not good for Real Madrid. So that is my opinion on the issue, on the topic. So now let's move on and let's talk about the most important news that we have, because Eduardo Inda revealed last night Real Madrid has a done deal with a company, another company, which is called Legends, who is a kind of online platform, something like that, and takes care, right now, is taking care of all the things about and regarding to merchandising and all the catering and food for the stadium, and of course the brand worldwide, and they are actually taking care of all these things in Manchester City. They are already partnering with Manchester City, the New York Yankees, the Dallas Cowboys, FC Barcelona, and Atletico de Madrid. And now Real Madrid has made the deal with this company, and the good news is this company will lend 400 million euros to Real Madrid, and the 50% of that money, I mean about 200 or something like that, will be to pay the transfer fee Real Madrid wants to pay to Kylian Mbappe for signing the next year. I mean, I don't think it is going to be the 50%, because the 50% is 200 million, and if you think about it, Real Madrid is not going to pay 200 million to Kylian Mbappe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we pay, I don't know, maybe 50 to 60 millions to the player, but not 200. But whatever it is, more or less, I don't care. The thing is, we are not going to take the money out of the books, which means that other money from other company will pay in advance for that. Which means very good news for the finances of Real Madrid, that in my opinion are already in a very good shape. And of course, this is even better. And the other 50% of that, money of 400 million, the other 50%, the other 200 million, it's going to be for the stadium, for remodeling and stuff like that. So it's got to be great. It is a very great deal. It is something that we really, I mean, I'm not going to say we were really in need of that, because finances in Real Madrid are super strong right now, but it is always good you sign deals with companies that are willing to throw a lot of money on the table to reinvest in the brand, in the club, in players, or whatever. So very good news for Real Madrid, because this is apparently a done deal. So now let me know your thoughts about that, guys. Just comment in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.